laughing now? Who's laughing now? Hail to the Deadites! Hail to the Deadites! Hail to the Deadites! Hail to the
I'm ripping you off.
I was just about to say, I was like, wow, look who's being a copycat.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome everyone to the second episode of Hail to the Deadites. I'm G, and this is Chris with a K.
Woo!
And today on the episode, we are interviewing the man, the myth, the cinematographer, Tim Philo, the director of photography from the original Evil Dead movie.
Woo, woo, woo.
And what an honor that is. That is very
What an
cool.
honor.
That is one of my favorite movies, and now I get to meet and interview someone that was there for it. It's
just
really cool.
And it's just so cool to think about because this franchise just celebrated its 40th anniversary, and to be able to have this opportunity, thank you to the fine group of folks behind Hail to the Deadites and the infamous horror family for blessing us with this opportunity to do this, getting a chance to interview and talk with and connect with people that are attached to the Evil Dead franchise that otherwise we may not have been able to essentially meet and talk with. So this is groovy, to say the least.
Very, very groovy.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Hi!
I'm just popping in to say, first of all, I didn't came to the show the first show because I was so kind of impressed with what Graham had to say that I wasn't thinking of jumping in and say hi and stuff. But I just want to say thank you to you guys for jumping in this journey. Doing a podcast, a bi-weekly podcast with people from the Evil Dead. I think it's great that you guys are jumping, and for me it's just wow, we did Hell to the Deadites, and now the first two guests that we had on the podcast are not in the documentary, which is make me think, should I do Hell to the Deadites? But I don't know, I'm just asking, but it's cool. So I might jump in from time to time on the show, but I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm behind and I'm watching you. All right.
Oh, he's watching us.
Oh, well, okay. You can move on. Okay, I'm going back.
You can jump in whenever you want, buddy. I think we do
Okay.
need to twist it. I think we do need to twist his arm and let him know that we definitely should have an official sequel to the documentary. Because
Yeah, and
I know I
now
would love to see that.
they have 2 more fans they can interview, so that's 2
Yeah,
less
there's-
people they
there's-
need to go
there's-
find.
There's 2 more fans that they can interview. I don't know. Just one might start with a K, one might start with the G. But I'm pretty sure I've heard it through the grapevine that those 2 are some pretty cool cats. Wouldn't you say? They should definitely
Yeah,
probably
and
get
I mean,
interviewed sometime. Yeah.
they host a pretty awesome podcast, so
Yeah, from what I heard, the podcast that they host is pretty darn cool.
I think we have something. We have a good start here. A really good start.
cool.
Awesome.
Any Evil Dead news in the grapevine that you'd like to share?
Down the grapevine, Evil Dead news. I think next time we have the episode, we'll have it set up to pull up and actually show off. But I know Lee Cronin, the director of the new Evil Dead movie coming out this year from New Line Cinema, Evil Dead Rise. I know he has been teasing the movie on his Twitter account. The second to last thing he showed was, when you're in the editing process of a movie, you have the timeline of all the video and sound bites on the strip. He posted a little picture of that, showing that he's hard at work editing on it. And then the latest thing that he did, which was I thought really cool, I believe he's in some sort of studio in Dublin, Ireland, where he has the camera down low, focusing up a stairwell, and you just hear a sequence from the movie loud as hell in the background. You hear loud screaming, and you hear a little bit of the music and wind blowing, and I'm pretty sure you can hear the Deadites roaring in the background. And I was just like, I want to see what's happening.
I got
That's what I wanted
chills
to
everywhere
see.
listening to that when I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I need to know what's going on in the scene. It sounds so cool. So that's like the latest update with the movie. Like I could tell you like news that we haven't had a chance to discuss, but that's like the newest bit of info that's happened with the
Mhm.
film. In terms of the game, because I'm a super fan, I kind of already figured this information out already. But you know, for those not in the know, it's been the most recent updated information. It's been officially announced that cast members from the original movie are in fact reprising their roles for Evil Dead, the video game. So you have Betsy Baker, Teresa Tilly, all the ladies of the Evil Dead. I believe Scotty's coming back. So everybody, including obviously Ash himself, Bruce Campbell, are coming back to voice their iconic roles from the original movie for the video game. I do realize though that unlike previously thought, not everybody is playable. I don't think Linda is a playable character, and I don't know if Shelly is playable. But I know Scotty is playable, and I know Cheryl is playable, but not Shelly and Linda from what it sounds like. And I believe there is somebody who is a Twitch streamer that is going to have more information regarding the video game really, really soon. I'm going to have to hit up my contact and ask them and see if we can get them as a guest here on the show to talk about it when they're legally allowed to discuss publicly what they got going on with the video game. But
We should get people from Saber Interactive or Boss Team. I don't remember the name.
Boss
of
Team
the-
Games and Saber
There you go.
Interactive,
Like to talk about the game here. It would be
I fully agree.
Cool.
yeah.
That'd be cool because I know the original plan is for the game to be released next month, but there's been no official release date yet. But that's been what they've been teasing, that it's going to come out next month. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, pray to God, all that jazz, that it still happens. And I will say, speaking of Evil Dead, the game, there is a exhibit for the entire Evil Dead franchise at the Bearded Ladies Mystic Museum in Burbank, California. That it started, I want to say, last September, and they officially announced that supposedly the last date is going to be February 6th. So if you feel safe enough to travel, if you haven't gone yet, definitely go, because that exhibit is one you do not want to miss if you are a hardcore fan of Evil Dead. They have a ton of original screen used props on display, and Polaroid photos that have never been released publicly or shown in any behind the scenes footage or documentaries ever before. I took a bunch of pictures because they were really cool. And it's just really cool. And it's an interactive exhibit. So like if you pay a little extra to get this little keychain for Evil Dead the game, or if you get like this little pamphlet thingy, there's a sensor on the back, and you go up to different sections of the exhibit and you match it with the logo, and it brings stuff to life. So for example, there's a section where you put this with the logo, and the cellar door opens and closes, and you hear Cheryl down the cellar making noise at you and whatnot. And there's lights and sounds and gusts of wind and all sorts of cool things that they have going on. So it's almost the perfect way to promote the video game, because it makes you feel like you're in a video game because of how immersive it is. So it's definitely worth checking out if you have a chance to go.
I'm so like heartbroken that I
Oh,
cannot
no.
go. But hey, I'll be around for the 50th anniversary. So
That's true. You know what? Hey, someone set up a GoFundMe page. Let's get some funds together. Let's get out there as a group. Like that would be really cool if we could do that. Just help us out. Get there by February 6th.
Yeah. And speaking of video games, we're gonna have to stream the Evil Dead game when it comes out. We're gonna have to play it
Oh,
together.
absolutely. I call dibs on 1981 Ash though.
Okay, that's fine. I want to play as Cheryl anyways.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I found that's interesting, because probably there are a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, I want to play as Ash. And it's like, how are they going to make that work? Can multiple people play Ash? They have said that all 4 versions of Ash are in the game, and all of them are different. So Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and Ash versus Evil Dead. There's like there's like a hunter type, there's a warrior type, there's a leader type, and I just think that that's really cool how they did that. So it's like you have like different classes for each version of Ash. I'm curious what the classes will be for the other characters though. But so
Yeah.
far they've only mentioned the different types of roles that each version of Ash plays, and so I'm more keen on the bookends, OG Ash and Old Man Ash are the two versions I mostly are interested in playing as.
Yeah, I'm just excited to play the game. I've never played any of the Evil Dead video games.
Never?
I have a not emulated copy on my computer that I've been meaning to play that I just haven't gotten around to doing yet. It's totally
That's
legal.
so funny. It's
It's
totally
totally
legal. You know what? You just know it. What happened was you found a spell from the book to read from, and that's how it appeared.
Yeah,
That's how
I have Kandarian demons in my computer, and they just
There you go.
install emulated Evil Dead video games.
Do you know which ones off the top of your head that you're going to plan on playing?
I think I have Regenerations.
That's a good one.
I think that's the only one, but I have wanted to find some more.
No, it's funny. Well, the two that I've never had the opportunity of playing are the OG, which we mentioned in our last interview, the Commodore 64 game, I think it is, which I've seen footage of that. Very, very interesting game for back in the day, because it's like you play as Ash and you're in the cabin and you have to move along and like board up all the windows and doors to stop the evil force from entering. And when it enters, it possesses the cast members, and they turn to Deadites, and you have to use whatever weapons in your arsenal to like dismember them in different pieces and then stop those body parts from flying around and attacking. So it's very interesting how they did that game. I haven't played Hail to the King. I'll admit that. I know, bad fan. I haven't played Hail to the King, but I own Fistful of Boomstick, and I own Regeneration, and I got those for like less than $20, complete. I got really lucky. I got
Wow.
disc, box, and pamphlet all together for less than $20 for each of those. I got really lucky.
Once again, I'm just jealous of your collection.
My collection is not that deep, trust me. There are people with way cooler, way more expansive collections than me.
Anyways, it's always been a pleasure chatting with you, and I will continue
Yes.
chatting with you and Tim Philo in the second half of our show.
Indeed.
Anyways, it's song time. The song featured on today's episode will be Blues Campbell by the great Luke Sky.
A long time ago, crossed the border of Tennessee, in the woods in a cabin, just a few good friends and me. Got my girlfriend Linda, thought we'd soon head to bed, till we played a tape of some guy reading the Book of the Dead. Now Scotty's possessed from his socket sliding gushes. The woods are alive and they trim Cheryl's bushes. Chopping up Shelly and burying her to me once seemed brash, but after one night in this cabin, you can all kiss my ass. Decapitated Linda with a shovel, while the rest just turned loose. Well, I'm composing, they're decomposing. I got the Necronomicon Exporters by the latest Peppermint Kandarian Blues. That shaky can demon snuck up on me quick. Now I'm flying through the forest while Sam Raimi hits me with a stick. The bridge was out, so I ended up stranded. My right lip got possessed, man, those demons are underhanded. Who's laughing now? I said as I chopped it off with the wrist. Now my right hand is a chainsaw, I got my shotgun and I'm pissed. Henrietta the heinous whore hag is screaming out with bliss. I'll swallow your soul! So I told her, swallow this! Suck the demons into a vortex, and me too! Facing a fate I can't refuse. For God's sake, how do you stop it? I got the Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness starring Bruce Campbell Blues. Time for a solo, Ted! Give me some sugar, baby! Make love the Bruce Campbell way! Oh, that's just what we call pillow talk, baby! Hey, don't touch my car, it's a classic! The So let's run it down the street. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. Used to work at S-Mart, was a normal kind of guy. Now I'm a 14th century hero, the prophesized man from the sky. Defeating the pit bitch got their attention quick. So I held up my son up and told him, this is my boomstick. In a windmill fighting mini-me's, the shempin ain't fun. My bad clone called me goody two-shoes. Good bad, I'm the guy with the gun. Said Klaatu Barada, which is a reference to some old movie. This army of Deadites who slaughtered them all, man, it was pretty groovy. Now I'm back working at S-Mart, fighting witches who were shopping for shoes. That's L13, next to housewares. I got the look, maybe I didn't say every single little tiny syllable, no, but basically I said the Diablos. I got the 8mm great focus monkey signal spindle Michigan blues. I got the Hercules, the legendary jerky, the warrior, Princess Autolycus blue. I got the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Jack of all trades, Spider-Man blues. I got the man with the screaming frame of a Hotep analysis blue. I got the crime waves, maniac cops, moon trap, lunatics, a love story, mind warp, Hudsucker proxy, Congo, escape from LA, Miss Kale's Navy, love bug, serving Sarah, Yaha, Spur notice.
You know, spies, bunch of bitchy little girls.
My name is Blue. To the king, baby!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of our show. We are joined today by the director of photography from the original Evil Dead movie, Tim Philo. Thank you so much for coming to the show and interviewing with us.
All right. Thanks for having me.
So I'll start out with a pretty easy question. How did you get into film?
How did I get into film? Some friends in my neighborhood started shooting Super 8 films and showing them in their garage for kids in the neighborhood, charging 25 cents to see them. And I got involved with them right away. As soon as I saw what could be done, I was all over it and just wanted to be involved. So that was during a teacher's strike in Detroit. We didn't have much to do, so we started making Super 8 films.
Yeah, and then while you were making the Super 8 films, who were some of like your biggest influences in terms of like the look or the feel of the films? It was make whatever you can.
I don't know that there were influences so much as saying, let's make a James Bond type thing and run around and beat each other up. So there was not a lot of sophistication to what we were doing in Super 8. We made a parody of like a talk show, like a Johnny Carson show. We did a couple of James Bond type things. They were all very cheesy and featured teenagers beating each other up.
Fun. I'm gonna ask a techie question, just because I do some cinematography stuff. What's like your favorite way to shoot, or your favorite camera, or like what is your ideal like shooting setup?
Well, I'd say obviously it changes over the years, over the decades. It's different methods, different cameras, moving from film to digital capture. But I do like doing handheld work. I do like doing shooting people. I like to concentrate on human beings mostly, but it's nice to shoot actors. It's nice to shoot faces. Back before Evil Dead, before I got involved in it, I was in film school, and I was sitting around, and I was thinking, you know, what I want to do is shoot horror, because I feel like there are fewer rules. At that point, it was like, oh, hey, we can go a little wild here. There are, you know, maybe fewer ways to make mistakes, but also, you know, you can get wilder with lighting, wilder with camera movement, and have some fun.
Were there any horror movies out at that time that were like sort of an inspiration to you that like inspired you to make the decision that you mainly wanted to do horror movies as a cinematographer?
I didn't necessarily mainly want to do horror films, but you know, my friends and I, not necessarily film friends, but just friends from the neighborhood, friends from high school, we went and saw a lot of movies, and you would run out of movies, and then suddenly it's like, let's go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let's go see The Hills Have Eyes, let's go see, you know, Rabid or whatever. You run out of movies if you don't go see those things, and I can remember, you know, being 18 or 19 and, you know, just starting a film program in the university and seeing The Hills Have Eyes and friends turning and saying, well, you can do better than that. Come on.
Okay, let's get into some Evil Dead related questions now, because that's why we're all here. Talk a little bit about your on-set experience. I know it was cold and miserable, but I'd love to hear what you have to say on the filming of it.
Yeah, it was cold and miserable, and you know, we didn't have a lot of experience, and basically I was having to do the camera and AC work, loading the camera and operating it, and doing everything related to the camera, and also direct whatever was happening with the lighting, which, since we didn't exactly have a lighting crew, that means a lot of hands-on there too. You know, there's the technical aspects, and then there's the sort of difficulties of the shoot, the how hard it was. I don't know which you want me to address, but you know, technically it was, you know, shooting 16 millimeter, shooting almost exclusively prime lenses, because we expected to go to a blow up and wanted to keep things as clean and simple as possible, keep the images strong, or as strong as they could be in 16 millimeter. We were shooting with 100 ASA stock, which meant outdoors. You know, outdoors usually we didn't have much problem with exposure by throwing a filter on it, but 100 ASA indoors was going to be a challenge. We were also in a place where they had to bring down from the main road a whole power box and drop it there on a pole for us, so we had some power. We didn't have a lot of lights. We didn't have big lights. When we worked outside, it was like find every light we could, get them hidden as best we could, and just stick them out there. We started filming, I think the first day of filming was about the 12th of November, and it was pretty down there in Tennessee. It was beautiful, and we were getting to shoot during the daytime outside. It was great. It was comfortable. It was beautiful. We had nice color change in the leaves, and then when the cabin was ready to shoot, and we were shooting around the cabin, it started getting colder, and it stayed cold, and we had eventually had a big kerosene heater in the place that would roar away with kerosene fumes through the place and stinging our eyes, and barely heating the cabin because the cabin was so porous. And then, you know, there's no running water or anything, so to change magazines, to load a new magazine, what we had was hot coffee, and I'd clean my hands by pouring hot coffee on my hands, and then get in the bag, change the film in the magazine. I don't know if this is archaic terminology for everyone, but you got to put your hands in a black bag and keep the film from getting exposed, and load a new magazine, and then get back to shooting. So.
Wow.
Wow. That's intense. Would you say that was probably the most difficult part of shooting, or were there like any other situations that arose that made shooting more difficult, other than like the weather and like the conditions and whatnot? Or what would you say was the most challenging thing you had to face when putting the movie together?
Well, we were working long hours, and not sleeping much at all. You know, sometimes we just like get back to the house and slump down for 5 hours, and then get up and get back to the set as fast as possible. And we'd run out of energy. There were 2 distinct days where we got to the set and everyone was so exhausted that, you know, after 3 hours we had like one shot, and the producer Rob Tappert just said, "Okay, I'm calling it. Quit it. Go back. Get some sleep. You know, and we'll come back and try it again tomorrow," because we just couldn't deal. Sam was amazing. Sam seemed to get by on an hour or 2 sleep a night, day after day, week after week, until you know, there was a certain point where he just hit a wall and laid down and couldn't get up. We couldn't wake him up. Teresa, the actress, was doing the scene. We were trying to set it up with her. She was in heavy makeup, and but we tried to wake Sam up once it was set up, and we couldn't get him up. And she got very scared, and she was she was in makeup and kind of screaming that, you know, something was wrong.
Oh,
but,
no.
what was wrong was exhaustion. We were all totally exhausted almost all the time.
Wow.
That's crazy. I can only imagine, because, like, you know, any Evil Dead fan worth their salt has like heard like some of the stories about how difficult the shoot was. So I was just curious from like your own account, like how difficult that was.
Yeah. Well, it was fun at the same time. You know, there was one moment that we were having a prop rebuilt, or a window that we were about to break reset in the frame, and Sam and I walked outside. You know, freezing cold outside, but we walked up the hill and just laid down and looked at the stars, and Sam was smoking a cigarette, and he said, "You know, Tim, it's never going to be this hard again." And then he said, "But then it's never going to be this good again." And what he meant by that was, here we were in absolute rural Tennessee, with nobody looking over our shoulders. It was like we weren't showing the rushes to the studio or anything. There was no studio. These were dentists and grocers and parents and things that had invested in this thing. So the sophistication of whoever was going to look over our shoulders was not high. So nobody was looking over our shoulders. It gave us a lot of license to just make the movie.
The freedom.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when it came to shooting, was it more you or Sam that would like set up the shots? Or was it more working together?
Yeah, we were working together. Sam always had a strong idea of what he wanted. We were shooting with wide-angle lenses a lot. So, you know, we after a very short time, we hardly had to confer about which lens we were going to use. If it was one of the wide-angle moving in shots of, you know, the point of view, what we called the force. We said, this is the force. It's the 8mm, and it's handheld moving in, either on a shaky cam or just handheld. But you know, it's not like we had a video tap or something like that. It was Sam knew what was in the viewfinder, and I'm a little taller than he is, so sometimes I don't know. Not a lot of it was on tripods too, so a lot of it was handheld. So it's a little bit easier. Sam knows if I'm 4 feet away with a 16 millimeter lens, what it's going to look like, and he's looking at it too. But Sam knows how to shoot. Sam was good. There was one point in the shoot where I got sick. My fever came on, and I was just dying. It was 4 a.m, and I just couldn't lift the camera anymore. I was too exhausted and sick, and so we called it and went back, and I might have slept an hour or two, but I had too much of a fever and was really sick. And I said, I don't know if I can make it to the set. And they said, just come to the set and tell us what to do. And Sam will hold the camera. Sam will operate the camera. And so we kind of did that. I helped him get the lighting set up, and there was some chase shooting. And I was in the cabin after a couple of takes. And I think it was like an hour into the day, and Sam came in and he handed me a camera and he said, I can't do it, get out there. I said, okay. And, the fever broke and I was fine. That was the end of it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
But that was fun. There was nothing terrible about that.
Now this question might have an answer, it might not. But if you could go back in time and change like one thing or the way one shot was done in The Evil Dead, what would that be?
Change a shot. Interesting. Well, there are things I wish I'd had in focus.
I always point that out to people when I'm watching it.
I'd start with that. And the first screenings of it, I'm afraid I had rabbit ears to hear people saying, well, no, that's how to focus. But it's not a matter of changing things, but at the end of the shoot in the last several days, I had to get back to Detroit. I had to register for classes and went and left camera gear. And I said, listen, as soon as you want to do the final shot, because we talked through the final shot, I really want to do that. Call me and I'll just jump in the car and drive 10 hours down to Tennessee, and because I want to work on that no matter what. I never did get the call on that, and they did a good job on it. It was fun. I don't know if you remember the shot, but it's the one that goes through the house and bursts through the doors and goes right up into Bruce's mouth.
Yeah.
So that was the main shot that you wanted to shoot?
That was a shot that we talked over, and I said, no, when it's dawn, when the morning light comes, and Bruce in a blue shirt with blood stains all over it, it's the dawn. I want to be there. I want to shoot that, and I didn't get to shoot them.
I'm sorry.
Well, it came out well, I think.
Is there a shot that you did do that you are most proud of, would you say?
I don't know about a shot. I think the sequence in the with the chainsaw in the woodshed when Betsy's about to get chopped up by Bruce. I felt best about that sequence because I had a strong idea of the shape of the shots and that there should be a sort of a geometric shape to them so that they read really quickly. In fact, overall, I thought and I would say this is one of the successes of the film from a low budget perspective. When you have 16 millimeter, you don't have what people are used to in terms of a theatrical experience. You don't have 35 millimeter, you don't have the resolution. But what you do have, or have the potential to have, is editing. Cuts are the same thing, whether it's 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter, Super 8. You can cut the same, and your sound can be the same. And part of the effort is to make strong images that read right away, so you can cut. So you can move fast and let the audience, even though they don't have lots and lots of grain to look at or pixels to look at, let them read it fast. Let them understand what you're giving them, because you're allowing the editor to work fast, to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this real quick because that is one of my favorite scenes in the original movie.
Oh yeah,
In the work shed when he's getting the chainsaw ready.
yeah, I
Amazing.
think it works well.
It does.
So where's my next question? Would you consider yourself like a fan of the franchise? Like, is it exciting for you to look at like the legacy of like where it's gone, like with the sequels and the TV show and the musical and then the new movies that are coming out? Like, is it exciting to know that you were one of the people that like laid the foundation for such like an important franchise in horror history?
Sure. Yeah. It's a little bit qualified, but you know, I was proud of what we did with Evil Dead. I worked on Evil Dead 2 some, you know, shot some of that, and the original tone or tenor of the first film doesn't exactly, you know, it morphs into something else in the second, and you know, keeps going in that direction in the third one, and even more so in the series. But I enjoy it. I like the films. The recent TV show, I saw a couple of things of and didn't really get into it. But I do like seeing things like Cabin in the Woods and shots or sequences that I go, they're stealing some stuff. I wouldn't say from me. They're not stealing out of my pocket. They're stealing out of Sam's pocket. But Sam was stealing from others. You know, the light bulb filling with blood in the basement is, I think, from a Three Stooges thing. So everyone steals from everyone else.
So if you could time travel back to 1979 and give yourself one piece of advice before or during the shooting of The Evil Dead, what would it be?
Well, aside from getting better clothes to stay warm. Interesting. I don't know. I was thinking for a moment about saying, you know, trust Sam, trust his vision of things. But I think we all did. It was funny. We didn't really consider that it wasn't going to find an audience, in spite of it being, you know, incredibly long odds that 14 of us would just go down to Tennessee and make a movie, and it would work. But I don't know. I don't have a quick answer for that.
That's valid. It's a very loaded, heavy question.
Yeah.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned working on Evil Dead 2. Can you talk about that?
You know what? I don't know if this is a cheat as an answer to that question, but when I came back from the shoot, and before we shot, you know, some things up in Michigan, some insert shoots in Sam's garage. You know, we kept shooting thing after thing for 6 months. I came back and I went, okay, want to work more on lighting. I want to learn more lighting. I want to take a black and white photography class and do my own printing. And so shaping light was the thing that I wanted to learn more about as soon as. So if there was something I wish I'd been able to do there, and I did to some extent. When we came back and did the basement scenes, I felt like, okay, I've already figured out some things and did different lighting in the basement than in some of the rest of the stuff under duress in Tennessee.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so talk a bit about what it was like working on Evil Dead 2 very briefly.
Well, I was asked after a couple of weeks. They were down there in Tennessee. I didn't get the call to do the shoot, as they said. You know, Dino De Laurentiis putting up $2 million or something like that. They want a Hollywood cameraman. So a Hollywood DP came out with his crew to North Carolina to shoot in the summer. And 2 weeks later, I got a call, hey, can you come to North Carolina and finish this off? Because we're about to fire the entire crew. And because they're not listening to Sam. And we know the DP is going to walk as soon as we fire his whole crew. So it didn't sound like a good situation to walk into, but also the deal was not a good deal. I had bookings. I had a wife and suddenly saying, goodbye, I'm leaving for North Carolina for the next 8 weeks. I also remember talking with Rob Tappert. He sent me the script and I read it, and it's an amazing document because it's hardly a script. Each shot is outlined, all of the elements of it. It would be like shot 2. 2A is background plate, moon rising in left corner. 2B, Ash rises up in frame in foreground, and there would be like 5 elements to so many of the shots. It was an intense document. But going through it, I said to them, I'm sorry, you're not going to finish this in 8 weeks. It's not possible. And Rob Tappert said, yes, we are definitely finishing in 8 weeks. We have to finish in 8 weeks. It's going to be finished. I said, yeah, I'm not going to be the fall guy for that. I'm not doing it. So they called me about 8 weeks later and said, hey, what's his name? I'm blanking on the DP's name who did take it. Very good guy, and very, very successful. He was going to have to leave, and they said, could you just come down for one night shoot? And so I got to Peter Deming, right. I finished off the last night shoot down in North Carolina. And when I got down there, I saw Rob and I said, so this is it. This is the last shot. He goes, oh no, we're going to be shooting up in Michigan, in the studio, later on. So I got to come to Michigan and shoot like a week. Some of it outdoors, some inside, a few scenes, and lots of inserts, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun because it was great. It was 35 millimeter. We had a couple cameras set up. Had in the studio there, we had like 3 sets going all the time. We were just bouncing from one to another. This is set up great. Let's go over here and pre-light. It was a horror film factory at that point.
Horror film factory.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I only have one question left, so I'll give the question asking, telling stick over to Chris. I think we have time for like 2 more.
Okay. Oh, you want me to ask the question
Oh,
now?
yeah.
And then you go. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
my
you were gonna-
question's really
my
good, so
bad.
I want to save it for last.
Oh, excuse me. Well then,
So
I
don't
guess
make it too good, Chris.
right. I guess I'll just ask a lame question. Then. But out of curiosity, what were, because I don't remember offhand, what were some of the shots in Evil Dead 2 that you did work on, and what was a fun scene to work on, and what was a challenging scene that made you go, oh my god, I'm having a flashback to working on the first film or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say flashback. There's one scene that we had to burst through the window in on the main female character. I don't know what her name was. I guess it was Linda in this, and she's recoiling away from the window, and it's a wide angle lens, and I actually do have to break the glass and move through the window and kick a false bottom of the exterior of the cabin out of the way as I go in, and with a 35-pound 35 millimeter camera and wide angle lens going right in on her, not trip and kill her, So I mean, there were things that were done even on Evil Dead 2 that were a little dangerous. We were I was most concerned when we had the scene of Ash shoots the wall with the shotgun, and the wall starts to bleed, and then suddenly there's the gush of blood that comes right at him out of the wall. Well, that was done by building the whole set on its side and turning the camera sideways, and he's laying down with a board on his back and a 50-gallon drum of blood, red water that has a trap door that's going to drop this 50 gallons, boom, right on him, all in one drop, which we didn't have any test to see whether that would break his spine. But there was some concern there. There's a lot of concern there. But we did it, and naturally we did it one or two more times.
Oh my god, naturally.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final question for you is, if there was going to be a movie made about the making of the Evil Dead, who would you want to cast as yourself? And you can pick like any actor. You can pick like an actor that's like old now that would have been like young back in the heyday, or you can pick anyone.
Well, that's funny because Sam would occasionally accuse me of being more of a mind to shoot a documentary about the shooting of Evil Dead than shooting Evil Dead. He goes, yeah, I can tell you're more interested in, what's behind the lens. I don't know if you've seen American Movie, but that rang really true to me. This behind the scenes of watching some people make a horror film. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's a good question. Who would I be? I don't know. I flashed on Jeff Goldblum pretty quickly.
I could see that.
Good answer.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll go with that.
No, that's a good answer.
That's good. I think he could pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at this point. Not at this point.
No, back in the Jurassic Park years, he could.
We were very young.
They got the technology. They got the dots. He could still do it.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. It's an honor to have interviewed you.
Yes.
Someone that shot my favorite movie. So thank you so much.
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, no, this one too.
Yeah.